Hello and welcome to Made It in the States, the #1 resource for finding and supporting American-made products. My name is Ben Newman and I'm your host. We will be telling the stories of companies producing products here domestically. We truly believe that there is a knowledge gap issue. There are plenty of companies that are producing products right here in America. However, it is too challenging for the everyday consumer to find and support those businesses. We are here to change that. Every week, we will be talking to a new owner or CEO and learning about their story, their struggles, their triumphs, and why they are continuing to produce products right here in the United States. We are so incredibly excited to have you along for this journey. If you enjoy the podcast, please like and subscribe, as well as leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. On today's episode, we are talking to Justin of Kentwool. Today's a fun episode because we got to come to the Kentwool facility and do a factory tour, and we're now sitting down with Justin in a conference room in the facility. You may have seen Kentwool's socks on some famous golfers on the PGA Tour, but they're also known for their yarn and the yarn that they provide to people who make wool products. We're going to learn all about the Kentwool business from Justin, so let's jump in and talk to him. All right, today we are joined by Justin of Kentwool. Kentwool is a fantastic manufacturer of textiles. Justin's going to correct me and tell us the correct definition of how we should introduce Kentwool, but they are on a really cool campus here in Pickens County, South Carolina. We're sitting in a conference room, and as you drive up, it's gorgeous. It's the mountains of South Carolina in the upstate. Justin, it is great to have you here today. Tell us about Kentwool.
Well, appreciate you joining us, Ben. Kentwool itself has been around since 1843. We're celebrating our 182nd anniversary this year. Where you're sitting right now, that campus, we relocated from Philadelphia to where we are now in 1954. So we've been here just over 70 years. Kentwool itself is a worsted wool yarn spinner. So that's long staple versus woolen, which is short staple. Most of the time, the difference between the two is it's utilized in really fine suits. Hosiery is a big application for us, but suiting, weaving, knitting is a big application. The business itself, as I said, we employ some artists that take a natural fiber and create an amazing yarn. It's amazing that some of our customers. One of our employees has been here 32 years. Some of the customers that he started with 32 years ago, are still with us. So
wow,
it's a company with rich in history. It's been family owned. It's on the 5th generation now. Our owner is Kim Kent, amazing lady. That's really done a great job.
Such a cool history, and it is a storied history not only here in Pickens County, but then also before that, celebrating almost 180 years. That's a big business, whether it is in size or just the sustainability of being able to last 180 years in everything that has happened. Before we dive into Kentwool a little bit more, want to learn a little bit more about your background and kind of your role and how you came to be here at Kentwool.
I have kind of an eclectic background. I think you and I touched on it before this discussion, and I've been in everything from an industrial business to a medical device business. I've been very blessed. I'm very lucky. I had amazing parents, and I have an amazing wife and supportive family. I had some tremendous mentors in my career that really helped me get to where I am, and I've been lucky. Originally from the New York metro area.
Okay.
I don't really have my accent, but it'll come out. A lot of times when I get together with friends back in New York,
yep.
Or you make me say afterwards or something, it'll pop out. But ultimately, I grew up on Long Island. My wife and I met in New York City. We moved to New Hampshire. We had a family, and then one day she was pregnant with my son. My daughter was about 2.5 years old, and she said, "The kids and I are moving south. Do you want to join us?" So we transitioned from New Hampshire to Charleston, South Carolina. We raised our kids in Charleston, and then moved west to come to where we are today in Greenville.
Absolutely, such a cool story. And tell us a little bit more about the Kent family, and then also what you do here at Kentwool.
So I am the president and CEO of Kentwool. The Kent family, if we go back in history, the business was founded by Thomas Kent in 1843. He was an English immigrant. The business, as you said, has weathered many things, everything from, the Great Depression, the Great Recession, COVID. We've had quite a few different things. It was originally a manufacturer of Union Army dress uniforms, and Tom Kent, or Warren Tom Kent, wanted to relocate the business from outside of Philadelphia to South Carolina and kind of separate from the overall family. And he saw a passion. He was very entrepreneurial, very smart, and saw that worsted wool was going to be the way of the future, and refined fibers were going to be the way of the future. That was fabulous for many years. Men and women both wore suits. That's changed. I think you and I are dressed in a little bit of a different outfit today, a lot of golf shirts and some performance pants. Wool is still the preferred choice. It's a dominant fiber in the outdoor market. It's a dominant fiber inside of some of the dress apparel that still exists, hosiery, beanies, and outerwear. So the business itself has had to change and reimagine itself. Mark Kent, his father, Tom Kent, passed away in '92. Mark overtook the business at 29 years old. He was another amazing visionary. He recognized the fact that you really could utilize wool in a way in certain industries, and socks in particular, and he was a passionate golfer. And as the story goes, Mark was on playing the BMW Pro-Am. His feet were killing him. He had blisters, and his caddy, who you met today, was on the bag and said to him, "Why don't you create your own sock?" And so he created a sock that was the dominant sock in the golf industry today. Mark tragically passed away in 2017. Kim took over the role of CEO, and then we transitioned in 23 to me being CEO.
Very cool. Very cool. And I think let's break it down for people. So you guys make a couple of different things. You briefly touched on the socks that you guys, it's your own product line.
That's correct.
And then you also talked about the yarn that you guys are spinning out there.
Correct.
So I think help people understand, because it's a complicated thing for someone who's never just gone through the factory like we had. What finished products other than socks could your yarn become? Like, give us the spectrum, because I think you may think of beanies or some dress wear, but it's pretty versatile, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the fiber itself is used in everything from, it could be used in insulation directly through to blankets, buffing pads. It's a preferred choice to use in a buffing pad. They haven't perfected yet how they can manufacture one that's not a natural fiber, just based off of the temperature and some of the durability issues that it could experience. Next to skin applications, so t-shirts, underwear, socks, pants, beanies, outerwear. Wool is a fiber that the misnomer that people have is that wool's itchy. It's not. The second one is that wool, you only wear it in the wintertime. Bad choice. Wool is a great fiber. It's antimicrobial. It wicks about 30% of its weight up in moisture. It creates its own microclimate, so it'll keep you cool in the summertime, warm in the wintertime. Extremely, extremely durable in comparison to synthetics and cottons and the rest. So endless applications. The business itself, I think, touching on what you had asked, so we are a yarn spinning facility, have been since 1843, and we have a performance merino sock brand, which is Kentwool Performance. So the facility you're in right now spins yarn Our socks are born and raised here. We manufacture the yarn here. They are knitted externally and then brought back to here to pick, pack, and ship.
Love it. And tell us, you told us about how Mark first started the performance sock brand, right? It was from him having an issue being out on the golf course and his feet hurting, and it's like, look, you have the solution. It's right in front of you. How have you guys grown that? Mark, it was obviously a brainchild of Mark.
Yep.
When he started, or over the next couple of years, was this always going to become a performance line of socks that you guys had, or was it just such a good sock that it kind of turned into that? Because people got it, they wore it, and they were like, dude, I need more of these.
Yeah, I can't answer the question of what it was before. Mark was an extreme, as I said, visionary. Mark had created an underwear line. Mark had created T-shirts.
Okay.
So he was ahead of where there's some famous brands now, or brands that have similar lines now that are T-shirts and underwear and socks. But from our perspective, we are the dominant sock in golf. Some of the top players in the world, that's all they wear. That's a preferred choice. And ultimately for us, we're trying to grow this brand. Mark was passionate about creating the best sock in golf, and we're trying to utilize that as a platform to build the best sock in steel toe hiking, directly through to CrossFit and endurance, looking at cycling in other markets. We are trying to grow it in a way that allows us to really retain what makes it special. It's super, super soft, using super fine fibers, extremely durable. But we want to grow it in the space that keeps some of what makes it special. And that is growing in smaller shops, more niche-oriented applications or shops. So green grass is where we originally were founded. That's a core focus for us right now, being golf courses and private golf courses. But we're trying to grow into other outdoor retail, running shops, and on and on.
Absolutely. It is, I think if people haven't ever seen your socks, one, they definitely need to go to
Kentwool.com
to check them out. I'm touching one right now, and I can tell people it is an incredibly soft sock, and it's thick too, which I think is one of the things about wool. If you go put on we'll just use Nike cotton sock for an example. Like by the time you're done wearing it at the end of a day of work, like it already has a hole in the back of it. And for people who have never seen or felt a wool sock, it is significantly thicker than those socks.
Well, it depends on the yarn that's used. Our Agile line has a kind of a lighter feel to it, but a similar loft. It all depends on what the end application is. I think you and I talked about it earlier, right? I did not wear wool socks prior to my arrival at Kentwool. They're life-changing. I mean, our product is by far the best product in the marketplace. I truly believe it. And I think it all starts with the yarn. That's been proven out. We have tremendous numbers of customers out in the marketplace that utilize the yarn. I'm very excited for what the future has in store for our sock line, and excited what has in store for the yarn business. The yarn business is doing extremely well. Both businesses are. We are trying to do everything we can to support the warfighter directly through to the commercial market here in the United States, which is what you guys are passionate about. We're trying to make sure that we can have additional associates be part of Kentwool and grow this business to support what is used here in the United States.
Absolutely. And let's just take one step back here. Justin, anything you can share with the audience? Don't want to ask you to share anything that you can't. About just the size of Kentwool, maybe how big the campus is in acreage, or how many shifts you're running, or anything that you can share just to give people an understanding. Because I think, and the reason I'm asking is sometimes we talk to people and they think every business we talk to is either, it's Justin and Kim in the other corner, and they're knitting all these socks in the yarn themselves, or it's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I think people don't always understand that there there's an in between. So anything you can share with us about size?
I mean, I think the business itself, we're growing the business.
Yeah.
We're trying to expand shifts, and we would be classified as small business by industry standards. The business itself, you're sitting on 140 plus acres in the campus, and the facility is greater than 100,000 square feet that you're inside of. We have, as I said to you before, we have a growing staff of artists. It's a natural fiber, and they are passionate about spinning yarn. It some days is very, very friendly and likes us, and some days it's kind of tough, and that's why we've got we actually just celebrated the end of last year one of our employees' 47th anniversary.
Wow.
She retired. She was amazing lady that gave a tremendous amount to the company. And there's many more associates that are the same. But then we also have a lot of new associates that have come on board that have less than 5 years that feel the same passion and are trying to support our mission to make the best yarn that we can make to support our customers.
And I'm going to go a little bit off script here. You mentioned artists, and I think I want people to understand who you're talking about when you say the artist. Do you internally and externally, do you guys refer to your employees who are on the manufacturing floor, making the yarn as artists, or who are you referring to when you say that?
So if you notice, the people that are on the floor with the natural fiber, it's impacted by environmental factors. It's also impacted by just normal variation in the material. As I said to you before, wool is an imperfect fiber. That's what people like about it. And so they have to understand and be able to work with the fiber to make that end magical product. So they are artists. You'll notice that everybody on the floor has on their back, and my shirt has it, is one team. And that's our motto. We as a group work together to all succeed together, and the team has really embraced that philosophy and is passionate about really trying to make or maintain the status that Kentwool has. You and I talked about what's one of the core tenets. Quality is. We're a USTR certified organization, which is the highest standard globally. We have an RWS certification, Responsible Wool Standard. Those are two coveted things that we really support, and it is what makes or differentiates Kentwool from anyone else.
Well, and I think by just embracing the culture and the quality and the atmosphere that you're creating here, by calling the employees who are creating this product artists, I think those are the type of things that the end consumer who's going to go buy a sock, right? To know that the employees are putting time, energy, effort into creating a product that is truly magical and takes dedication, and they're enjoying doing it. Those are the stories that, as we have talked to consumers, that's what they care about. That's the story that's cool to them, right? That it's one team, right? It's not this corporate oligarchy who's like, go do this, right? It is one team that everybody has to work together to come out and create this fantastic product. So I think it's a story that people will connect with, and it just shows the culture that Kentwool has by embracing that and calling people what they really are. They're artists, and they're crafting a product that takes skill.
Yeah, and I think the amazing part is textiles is what this country was founded on.
Yeah.
And we're part of a very small niche industry, the wool industry, and we have some tremendous partnerships. There's some amazing companies that we work really closely together with, and that industry is vibrant, has a real opportunity to rebound and grow, and I'm excited for it. I think the next decade or 2 decades is just going to be amazing, for us. And we as a business are really focused on making sure that we can support those artists. Challenges that everybody has, and I'm sure it's a question that you have, labor's always a challenge for everybody involved, and we're trying to do everything we can to support and complement our artists as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, well, let's touch before we jump into some more challenges. Maybe let's touch on some of the successes. You've been here since you said 20.
I started here in 2021, effectively.
Yeah, so 2021. There was a lot happening kind of around then in the world, manufacturing in particular. COVID had just kind of come through and shook up a lot of things. People closed down.
1,000%.
But before that, you have a background in other textile manufacturing. But looking at Kentwool in particular, whether it's during your tenure or before your tenure, what were some of those moments that really propelled Kentwool forward to make it what it is today? Some of those successes that Kentwool did that maybe somebody else didn't do, or just set Kentwool up to be as successful as it could.
I think COVID scared a lot of people. The world came to a screeching halt.
Yep.
I think we all realized the benefits and the detriment of just-in-time manufacturing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that we thought we could spin back up that we couldn't. I wasn't here during that tenure, but Kim and the leadership team, being Keith, Marie, and others, did an amazing job. I mean, they prepared. They had to make some difficult decisions, and they prepared the business for success in the future. I stepped into a very, very successful company that was well run, that was ready for continued success. And challenges a decade ago from a textile world, I think you and I touched on, there were big, large running piece of business, program business. Kentwool has changed and morphed into a solutions provider.
Yeah.
We kind of bring together the different fibers that are available, along with the machinery and quality capabilities that we have, and the ideas that customers have. And when those merge together, you have a solution. And that's what Kentwool offers to its customers. Whether that customer is a green grass, just starting out, greenfield business, or that customer is an established business that's trying to grow in a different direction, they come to Kentwool for a reason, because of the long lineage and history and knowledge that it has. People like Keith Horn, who's been with us for 32 years, he knows more. He'll forget more about wool than I'll ever learn. We have, as I said, we've had some folks here that have 47 years of experience. And in that time frame, there's a lot of things that you learn that you should do, and there's some things you learn you shouldn't do again. And we've been able to really take the business and pivot it into that solution provider. And that's allowed us to really offer our customers a differentiation for them and for ourselves.
And so when you say solutions provider, I'm assuming it's a very consultative process,
It is.
right? And so and the reason I'm asking, a good portion of our listeners are brands that are making different products here in America.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that they would find interesting. So is it a very consultative product? Like if I was a brand, what would that look like? Am I calling you guys and you guys are asking me questions, or I'm coming to you with kind of what I'm looking for in my blend that I want to try to achieve?
It all starts with an idea.
Okay.
All right. And somebody will either come with us with an idea of, hey, I see this product and I want it to perform differently. This is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? It all starts with an idea. And that will lead us down the path of some trials and errors, some samples of maybe some things we've done in the past. And it is an iterative process. So we kind of roll down that process of, here's one test, somebody goes and trials and errors, and then we morph into what the next solution should be. That process can take, we've been working on some things that have taken us 2 years. And sometimes it's an immediate, because it's a known entity, it's a known solution that we can offer to somebody. Majority of the time, it is a long sales process, a long consultative sales process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think want to touch on something we talked about earlier. Are you guys the sales process? And I think I'm asking this because, as everybody knows, in the past couple of weeks, there's been a big push on tariffs, and some of the brands that we have talked to, specifically manufacturers of like finished goods, have just seen a wave of interest from people who are big brands and also smaller brands who want to start producing products here in America for various reasons. Some are tire kickers, and they're not really serious, right? They're doing it because they feel like they have to, or for whatever reason. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, have you seen that recently, and did you see that around COVID when a lot of other people saw a surge of, I don't want my stuff to be stuck on a shipping container in the middle of the ocean. Like, I want to try to find a supplier who's here in beautiful South Carolina, and I can get it a lot quicker than getting it from overseas.
Yeah, 1,000%. We have seen an influx of business for sure. It's been brisk. I think that the process itself, first of all, I think that the story has not, the end of the story has not been written yet.
Agreed.
Right? I think we're all in a process right here where we don't know. We know there's some things that are happening 90 days. We're not sure what's going to happen beyond that. And I don't think any of us are forecasting. I don't have that magic 8 ball I can shake and say, this is what's going to happen.
I think if you did, there'd be a lot of people who'd pay a lot of money for that right now.
So, but I think we have had a very, as I said originally, we've had customers that have been here for over 30, 40 years, and we're extremely loyal to those customers. And we've had new customers that have come on board. So we've been the beneficiary even before the recent April, March tariff discussion that's been going on. There's been a lot of people that have been nearshoring or reshoring. COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people. Manufacturers realized, if you have a medical device and it requires a small little widget that goes with that device, if you don't have that widget, you can't sell the device. So I'm going to make sure that I have that little widget here, even though it costs me more money, but ultimately I want to sell the device, right? That translates on our side too. I mean, we've had a lot of people that have brought things back nearshoring with free trade agreements and USMCA and CAFTA-DR and the rest that have really driven a lot of business to get it within this region.
I think going along with that, one of the questions we like to ask is around the Berry Amendment, which people who listen to the podcast will be familiar with. Are you guys, is your yarn Berry compliant? Do people come to you so that they can create a Berry compliant product that could ultimately be sold to the government?
100%, yes. Yeah, I mean, it has to be manufactured in the U.S. of U.S. goods, and so we are Berry compliant. Depending on what product it is and the rest. I mean, but yes, that there are elements of that. There are other other agreements that have to be in place, but yes, for sure.
And I think going along with that, this podcast is about people who create products here in America. And we always like to ask brands the question, why do you still produce stuff here? It can be challenging. You talked a little bit about labor. Labor is more expensive. There's more laws. We just went through the factory. We had to make sure we had ear protection in. If you go to some other factories, they may not care, and they can hire less skilled labor. But you guys are doing the right thing. You're taking care of employees. You're making sure everybody stays safe, which ultimately is more expensive than trying to get to the cheapest product possible. And I'm sure over the 180-year history, there have been multiple opportunities for Kentwool to say, well, if we went down south or we went overseas, we could make a little bit more money. In your tenure here, and from what you know about the Kent family and Kentwool, why is making products here in America so important to Kentwool?
I think it's a commitment to the community, and it's a core tenet of the business. It was founded 182, 183 years ago and that's not going to change. It's founded in the United States. It has weathered more than COVID, more than tariffs, and we have a real community of people here that we are here to support and try and grow the business. Made in the USA means something. We truly believe it. You know, it's interesting. You and I touched on it. It's like you walk in your house and you try and find 12 products that are made in the U.S. It's really tough.
It really is.
And you know, I truly believe that you know, we need to, as a country, grow the industrial base, and have a warm industrial base for our warfighter, but also for our consumers, right? COVID taught us when you shut down the borders, it gets really hard if you don't make stuff here. So, and I think we all realize that if you make good quality products that are durable and that are long lasting, people will pay the premium for it, because it's made in the U.S. and it's of the quality that would really claim the price.
Absolutely. We hear that all the time. And, you know, one of the things that we do at Made in the States, we talk to brands. We also talk to a lot of consumers, and we learn, you know, why do you like buying Made in America? And I think a lot of people, because it's what comes up in the news, and it's like, why? It's all about patriotic. At the end of the day, a lot of people buy American made because of the quality, because it lasts longer. It truly is a better product than all that. And then you get all the side benefits of, you know, you are supporting your friend, your neighbor, and the money is staying here domestically. And when money stays here domestically, it gets reinvested back into the communities, like Pickens, South Carolina, where we are now. But I think the quality point that you touched on, people are willing to pay more. We've played around with this idea, and as consumers, you know, think about it, it's the cost per use, cost per wear, right? Like you can go buy a $15 Walmart t-shirt and, you know, wear it 5 times and it's dissolved, right? It goes through the wash and it's ratty, it's holey, but you go buy, you know, a $35 t-shirt from a place like Magnolia Loom down in Georgia, you know, that t-shirt, yes, is double the entry price, but you're going to have that t-shirt in 20 years and it's just now going to be getting ratty. And so your cost per use is a lot less. Your cost per wear is a lot less. And I think, you know, your socks are definitely a testament to that, but also the yarn that you're creating is going into products that have a higher entry price potentially, but are incredibly durable and are going to last a lot longer than something that is made out of cheap fibers or a cheaper alternative.
Yeah, I think as people realize the benefits of wool, whether it be in the future in the automotive industry, or, you know, once you recognize the durability of the product, the quality of the product that it manufactures, people are willing to, instead of quantity, it's quality I'm willing to pay for, right? It's fast fashion exists. You're never going to get rid of fast fashion, right? It ships in here. It ends up, you wear it once, as you said, maybe it doesn't last. Maybe it's not the same as what it looked. You wash it, something happens to it. But if somebody's going to make an investment, and that's what we believe is we are investing in this community. We're investing in the United States. People will invest in our product because they realize that it means something. Made in the USA is just not a symbol that's on it. It's actually somebody going ahead and recognizing it represents the quality of this country.
It's people who have been working at Kentwool for 47 years and care deeply about the product that they are making. And, you know, there's passion, there's pride. They care. If they put out a product that isn't top quality, it doesn't only hurt them in like oh gosh, I failed at what my job was, but it hurts. It's like I didn't deliver the quality product I know we could deliver.
Yeah, I think we touch on, we share with the associates, the artists, you know, where the product goes. We show them images. We have certain things that happen on an every other year basis, and we say, hey, by the way, that is your yarn, and it makes a world of difference, right? People can associate and connect with it. Or there's a sweater that your yarn went into. This is the pair of socks. When they're out at the store, they can say, hey, that's my yarn. I had a hand in making that. And, you know, to that effect, we do a lot of family-oriented things here. So we'll kind of have a fall festival, and we'll bring in a big tent, and we'll have barbecue, and then we'll get hay rides and petting zoo and the rest. And everybody wants to take their family for a tour. And I love it. I think it's the most important thing to show them where they work, and they love saying, this is my job, this way. And they make such a difference for what makes this company so special.
And let's touch on the community aspect of Kentwool. You guys are now based in Pickens, South Carolina. And for people who don't know about Pickens, it's just outside of Greenville. It is a rural community, but it's a growing community.
It is.
You've been here for quite some time. How do you guys get back? You talked about having a fall fest for your employees, and families come and they get to see where their parents work, and that creates just such a bigger community and fans of Kentwool, because it's connecting with them. What else do you guys do for the community? Do you guys give back in other ways, support different nonprofits?
We do. We support, we do not promote what we support. So there are different things like Miracle Hill Industries, or we do things with Jasmine Road we've done in the past. We've done some things with the Pollock Foundation. We've worked with other organizations. We kind of use a team approach. Okay. So each and every one of us that are part of the team kind of come to the table with a certain need or a passion that we feel, and we kind of evaluate it as a group, and then we make a commitment to it, whether it be we do the turkey fry or something else. We're always trying to give back. Hurricane Helene was a perfect example.
Yeah.
We had a situation where natural event happened, devastation. We had some associates that were impacted here, and we learned of a family that owned a helicopter business at Greenville, or GMU, the Greenville Downtown Airport, and they were taking supplies up to Asheville.
Yeah.
One of our contractors, former employees, called and said, "This is something you guys got to be a part of." And so we went up there. We had a conversation. We delivered 5,000 pairs of socks, and we strongly believe we're very, very lucky. We're fortunate with the success that we've had. And we want to give back. We want to give back to some foundations that have golf tournaments, which kind of fits with our core.
For sure.
Or directly with some things that we feel that are a personal need. I mean, there's a lot of people currently that have needs that we can offer a solution. We did some things with Miracle Hills Orphanage, and we wanted to make sure when kids went back to school, they didn't worry about anything but school.
Yep.
That, I know they raised some backpacks and some other things. They wanted to make sure that the pair of socks or the pair of pants that somebody was donating, the kid could focus on school, and that's all they had to worry about, because that's what's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's cool how you guys do take a team approach, right?
100%.
It's not just one person saying, this is what we're going to do.
No.
It's like, look, we are a team. Like, if there is a cause or something that is important, like, let's talk about it. And you're able to act quick then. Hurricane Helene was, for anybody in this area, devastating, and then even further up north near Asheville, even more devastating. And the fact that you guys are able to give back to that is so cool, and it shows the nimbleness of
100%.
not being set in stone, saying this is all we do, this is all we support, because there's always causes that are worthy to support.
1,000%. I mean, an example, I touched on the Pollock Foundation. I don't know if you know David Pollock. David Pollock was a University of Georgia player, played for the Cincinnati Bengals, got injured, and through a connection, someone connected us together. And that man has done so much for the Athens, Georgia area. So he rents out the convention center, and he calls it a banquet of blessings. And he each year feeds 1,000 people.
Wow.
And gives them jackets and blankets and socks and gloves. And so we've participated the last 2 years. And if you want to go to an event that's moving, that's one of them. It's really kind of cool to be a part of something so special. And he's an amazing guy. Just gives the shirt off his back every single day. And it's a nice thing for us to be able to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the characteristics of Made in America businesses.
Yep.
That we see more often, and it's because the people who own them, the people who operate them, live in the community, and they want to be stewards. They want to help their communities survive, thrive, and grow. And so Kentwool is clearly doing that. Justin, as we wrap up the podcast here, want to ask what's next for Kentwool. There's all this stuff with the tariffs, which we talked about. We don't really know what's going to happen. So there's some variability there. But what else beyond that? Are you guys going to continue to try to grow your direct-to-consumer business, which I want to touch on too a little bit more before we wrap up. But what is next for Kentwool?
So Kentwool itself, we need to support the growth of our yarn business, and we're investing heavily in doing that. We've got some tremendous partnerships, and we're trying to, as you came up, you saw, right? We're trying to hire for first and second shift. Trying to do everything we can to really meet the needs that are out there and grow that business. That business has got tremendous opportunities for growth. The other side of it is looking outside the box into, I know we said solutions provider, but looking at some unique fibers, things that are not traditional that maybe can be married up with wool to make a unique end product. And so we got some development on those. Those are TBD that coming out in the future. And then the direct-to-consumer or the wholesale business, right? The premium Merino wool sock business. That business, Mark designed it in 07, 08. It was launched at the PGA show in 2010. We had a famous golfer wearing the Masters wearing them, and ultimately that business is a mature business that hasn't matured yet. It's still got a long runway in front of it. I'm confident that we can do a lot of things with that. We've expanded outside of golf into steel toe and hiking, into CrossFit and endurance, and we'll continue to grow that business. It's got long legs, long runway in front of it, and I'm excited for it. The team that supports that, we have a marketing manager that does amazing work. She's just, when I see some of the work product that comes out and the impact it has on our consumers, it's tremendous. So I'm really excited for the future of that business, and we'll continue to add in, maybe some of those unique fibers we've been discussing.
There we go. I love it, and I think everybody will have to stay tuned to see what's happening in the sock world. Want to touch just on your growth there. You talked about wanting to grow through wholesalers. The mom and pop, 3 to 4 store shops, or even in the golf world, people would be familiar with country clubs. Is a huge opportunity as well. Do you guys see growth in the true direct to consumer on your website?
Yeah.
Is that a focus for you guys? Is that a growing channel for you, or is wholesale really where you're focused at right now?
But it's two-pronged approach. You've got to have an offline business to support your online. You got to have an online business to support your offline. You can't be just an internet brand. You got to have both. People can resonate, and once they see it in a store and they realize it online, then it connects the two together. So we're really focused on both channels, trying to grow that wholesale channel, along with supporting the growth that's in direct to consumer. So the web is an interesting piece of business. It's challenging. It has a lot of things you try to think you understand when you probably don't really understand. There's a lot of consumer behavior, but we've got some real brain power, and as I said, the marketing person that heads that up. She's got a really good handle on it, and it's doing an amazing job. That business is growing. In the wholesale business, again, we've got a great sales team, and they're doing a fabulous job. So would I love for it to grow more? 1,000%.
Yeah.
I would love for it to grow more. Am I happy where it's growing? Yeah, it's good. And we'll keep on pushing to continue the growth.
And slow and steady is, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It doesn't have to be this.
I don't know. Explosive isn't bad either.
There is.
But
it comes in waves.
Okay.
It comes in waves. You can't always have explosive growth. I think that's the key.
I'm okay with the step approach.
There you go. Exactly. It doesn't need to be a rocket ship every single time, but a couple of those every once in a while is won't complain, right?
we don't complain. We're happy when we see the POs come through.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, last question we like to ask everybody.
Sure.
Made in America.
Yeah.
You love wool socks now.
I do.
Your yarn goes into products, a ton of products.
Yep.
But made in America in general, we talked about how challenging it is to find made in America
1000%.
products. You can go Google and think you found something, and then you get it, and it's not made in America. There's a big made in China sticker. What are a couple of the made in America products that you use other than Kentwool socks that you just can't live without?
That's my favorite, though.
I know. We all love Kentwool socks, and they're gonna become the wool sock that everybody recognizes. But we gotta support some other brands too. So what are those for you?
It's interesting. I love the outdoors.
Okay.
So for me, I'm a big Tidewater boats.
Yep.
Made here outside of Charleston, South Carolina. I do enjoy Sig Arms out of Exeter, New Hampshire, which is fabulous. I like Mac belts.
Yep. Mac belts is fantastic.
So those are a couple of products that I do enjoy for sure.
Absolutely. We'll appreciate you sharing that with us. It's fun because people get to explore products that they'd never heard of. And Mac belts, absolutely fantastic belts if someone is looking for those. Justin, want to give you one more opportunity to wrap up the conversation and just share any closing thoughts about Kentwool, maybe specifically about the Kentwool Performance and the socks that you guys are building that you want the audience to remember.
Yeah, I think what I want everyone to remember is that Pickens, South Carolina is the home for Kentwool. It's been that for over 70 years. We have an amazing staff that's focused on making the highest quality yarn, which goes into amazing pair of socks. The socks are extremely durable. I'm biased, so I'll be the first to say that in advance. But they're life changing. We get them on people's feet, and they become Kentwoolians forever.
Kentwoolians, I love it.
And what I would say is I would love for everyone to try them out, reach out, let us know what you think. I think Mark Kent, which I never had a chance to meet, was an extremely brilliant man, a visionary. He built what I think is one of the best socks that are out there, and there are tons of other brands, and I won't say their names, but there are tons of other brands that make super quality socks. I just think ours is the best. So, but I am biased, and if you see them in the store or you see them online, give us a shout out. Let us know what you think, and we appreciate everyone's support. It's all a village, right? We're all part of it.
Absolutely.
And if we want to grow the domestic supply chain, the manufacturing base, we got to support it.
Absolutely.
So we're one component of thousands of companies in the exact same situation. And Ben, I have to applaud you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I think it's what you're doing is tremendous. It highlights some of those local manufacturers. And gives us all an opportunity to succeed. And in the end, that's going to help the United States in general.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. The stories are so impactful and people need to hear it. And so we are absolutely thrilled that we get to be able to do that. We're going to leave the web address for the Kentwool socks as well as the Instagram and everything for people to go take a look. You guys have some pretty cool golf shots on the Instagram. So if you're a golf fanatic like I am, and I know you are too, Justin,
yep,
it's worth just going and checking it out and getting to look at some cool golf courses. Really appreciate you taking the time today, Justin. It's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Same here. Thank you for visiting, and welcome back anytime you want.
Thank you, Justin.